You have seen this headline 100 times by now. WebAssembly is finally replacing JavaScript. So is the language that runs the entire web about to die? The honest answer up front? No, and also kind of yes. JavaScript is more entrenched than it has ever been. But in 2026, something underneath it genuinely cracked because the thing being replaced was never the language you type. It is the monopoly, the 30-year rule that a browser speaks exactly one language and nothing else. WebAssembly breaks that rule. Write in C++, Rust, Go, or C#, and it runs inside the browser at near native speed. Not translated into JavaScript, actually executed. And this is not a lab demo. Open Figma right now. That impossibly smooth canvas is C++ compiled to WebAssembly, and it made their app load more than 3 times faster. Photoshop runs in a browser tab today. So does Google Earth. Full desktop-grade software shipped as WebAssembly with nothing to install. So here's the plan. What Wasm 3.0 actually changes, why it matters outside the browser now, and the honest line between what it replaces and what it never will. First, give JavaScript its credit. It earned this monopoly. Every browser on Earth runs it. The ecosystem has 3.2 million packages on NPM. Over 63% of all professional developers use it every single day, according to the 2025 Stack Overflow survey. Nothing in history has that kind of surface area. WebAssembly was never going to kill that, and it does not try to. What it does is break the lock. Before Wasm, if you wanted code in a browser, you wrote JavaScript or you went home. Every other language on Earth was locked out. That lock is now off. And the moment you remove a monopoly, you do not get a replacement. You get a marketplace. That is the shift everyone keeps describing wrong. Now Wasm 3.0. The version number everyone keeps quoting. Here's what actually landed. The change is called the Component Model, and it solves the one problem that kept WebAssembly stuck as a toy for the last 5 years. Before this, a Wasm module was a black box. It could crunch numbers, but it could not talk to anything. No file system, no network, no standard way to call another module. You built an island, and the island stayed alone. The component model blows that apart. It gives Wasm a universal type system. A module written in Rust can now import a module written in Go and call its functions directly. No glue code, no serialization, no shared runtime. Just a contract. Think of it as the USB-C of software components. Plug anything into anything, language does not matter. And WASI, the system interface that ships alongside it, hands those components real operating system access. Files, sockets, clocks, environment variables. The things a real application actually needs. Wasm without WASI was a calculator. Wasm with WASI is a platform. Here's where it gets interesting. This is no longer a browser story. The fastest growing use of WebAssembly in 2026 is on the server. Fermyon, the company behind the Spin framework, just hit 1 million Wasm apps deployed. Cloudflare Workers runs WebAssembly at the edge across 300 cities. Fastly's compute platform is built entirely on it, and they all chose Wasm for the same reason. Cold start under 1 millisecond. A Docker container takes hundreds of milliseconds to wake up. A Wasm module takes less than 1. That is not a percentage improvement. That is a category difference. And the binary itself is measured in kilobytes, not megabytes. No operating system image, no runtime, no file system layer. Just the code, flat, portable, and sandboxed by default. Every module runs in its own memory space with zero access to anything it was not explicitly handed. Security is not a feature you add. It is the default physics of the format. That brings up the part nobody warns you about. The tooling is still young. Debugging a Wasm module today is nowhere near debugging JavaScript and Chrome DevTools. Source maps exist, but they are fragile. Stack traces can be cryptic. And the ecosystem of libraries written for Wasm natively is a fraction of what NPM offers. You are not going to pull in 1,000 packages from a registry and have them all just work. Not yet. And the DOM. WebAssembly still cannot touch the DOM directly. Every Wasm framework that renders UI in a browser is crossing a bridge back into JavaScript to move pixels on the screen. That bridge has a cost. For a React-shaped app with constant small DOM updates, Wasm adds overhead it does not recover. The DOM is JavaScript's home turf, and that is not changing in this version or the next. Let me be fair to JavaScript plainly. If you are building a content site, a dashboard, or anything where the DOM is the product, JavaScript wins today and probably wins in 2030. The framework ecosystem, the hiring pool, the tooling, the sheer momentum. None of that evaporates because a new compile target showed up. JavaScript's weakness was never the browser. It was everywhere else you tried to push it. Here is the honest verdict. What Wasm 3.0 actually replaces is not JavaScript. It is the assumption that the browser is the only place this matters. The component model turned WebAssembly into a universal binary format. Write once in any language, run on any platform, from edge servers to embedded devices to plug-in systems inside applications that have nothing to do with a browser. Rewind the whole thing in one breath. JavaScript keeps the DOM. Wasm gets everything else. The component model lets modules talk across languages. WASI gives them real system access. Cold starts under a millisecond, and the browser is no longer the point. 4 numbers to walk away with. 3 times faster load for Figma on Wasm. Under 1 millisecond cold start versus hundreds for containers. 300 cities running Wasm at the edge today. And 0 default access, sandboxed from birth. The honest advice. Do not go rewrite your front end. Learn what compiles to WebAssembly, a little Rust, some Go, some C hash, and keep one eye on that component model. That is where the next decade of software is being quietly poured right now. JavaScript built the web, and it earned every bit of that. It is just not going to run all of it entirely by itself anymore. If this reframed how you see your own stack, subscribe. This is where we take the hype apart and show you the receipts underneath. I will see you in the next one.